I get it. You're really busy. You have such little time and energy these days that you're wondering to yourself, is it really worth it for me to start my own garden this year? Or maybe you're already kind of on board, but you just need a little more motivation. Well, today I am going to go over 7 reasons why I do absolutely believe it's worth it to grow your own food. Welcome to True Freedom Permaculture, where I show you all the tips and tricks you need to have a green thumb, even if you weren't born with one. All right, let's get started. The first reason why is because you can save a lot of money for better quality food. Produce can be really expensive sometimes, especially if you're buying organic or heirloom produce. The prices can really be up there. So initially in the beginning with gardening, you do have a small startup cost because you're gonna have to buy things like garden tools possibly, or pots to grow things in, potting soil, things like that. But these are infrequent costs. This is hopefully not something you're gonna have to buy every single year. And if you have enough where you can buy a little bit better quality stuff in the beginning, there's less of a chance that you're gonna have to be buying it every year, every 2 years. They should last you for quite a while. So once you have all the supplies that you need, then all the money really is spent on seeds. Not even if you're harvesting and growing your own seeds, but we'll get to that later. Keep it simple. So seeds or seedlings to start off with. So costs are minimal going forward. Because you're not spending a lot on what you're growing, you can make really cool things that might be out of your budget otherwise. An example of this is this jar of green zebra tomato preserves that I made because I had tons of tomatoes that I wanted to pull in before the first frost set in. And if you went to the store and bought a bunch of heirloom tomatoes to make for a jar of this, or if you bought an organic jar of tomato preserves, it's going to be much more expensive than growing your own. So it really allows you to play and experiment a little bit more than you would normally. The second reason why you should consider growing your own food is because it makes you more self-sufficient. Why do we care about this? Well, there are more factors that are within your control. So what if a grocery store can't stock something, or if there's shipping delays on a certain item that you want? It doesn't matter because you have food growing in your backyard. Hopefully there won't be a food shortage, knock on wood, but if there is, you can sit back and relax a bit because you still have access to fresh produce. Yeah, it's great to have those freeze-dried meals. Doomsday preppers, I am talking to you. But one thing is that these freeze-dried meals, they're designed for survival in mind, not necessarily health. So if you can have better quality, fresher food right at hand, why not have it? The third reason is that it teaches you hard skills that are portable. Yeah, you might move to a different climate or growing zone, and you might have to adjust accordingly, but you'll still retain the basic skills you need to allow things to grow. This is a skill set that nobody can take away from you, and what a wonderful thing to teach to a friend, a family member, or a child. The fourth reason is that it's healthier for you and the planet. This is just common sense. What do you think has more nutrients in it? Something that you just went out and picked out of your garden a few minutes or maybe a few hours ago versus something that was shipped to you halfway across the world and might have been picked 1 week, 2 weeks, or even longer ago. Calling all multitaskers. The fifth reason is gardening is a wonderful form of functional exercise. You get sunshine, movement, and fresh air all at once. There are things that I hate doing, like squats. I hate doing squats. So when you're doing them while you're weeding or pulling things out of the ground, it makes the time go by a lot faster, trust me. You're also doing things like lifting, digging, maybe even pushing a wheelbarrow, so you're getting a huge range of motion as well. This brings me to the sixth reason, which is that you're less likely to waste food. We're all guilty of it. It's so easy to forget things that are just stuck in the back of your fridge. But take, for example, a carrot that you planted from seed maybe, and you were weeding around all year. You've been watering it, taking really good care of it, and then you pluck it out of the garden with your own hands. You are less likely to forget about this because you spent so much time growing it yourself. So there's much more of an attachment to it, and you're probably really excited to use it. Maybe you have a kid who's really picky eater and doesn't enjoy eating their vegetables. But I bet if they played a part in growing it themselves, they would be much more excited to eat it too. And we've arrived at our final reason, which is that gardening teaches you about life. You watch things grow and you watch things die, and you get to view the entire life cycle. You become witness to how interdependent everything is, and that when left to its own devices, nature tends to work pretty perfectly. Well, I hope this video has inspired you to get out there and get growing. Don't take on a huge garden right away. Start with something small. Don't grow something just because someone told you to. Choose 1 or 2 crops that really spark excitement for you and start with those. Or even begin with a single herb in a small pot that's placed on your deck or windowsill. I'm pretty confident that once you get a taste of growing your own food, you'll want to keep going and expanding your knowledge more and more. So let's take what we learned today and break it up into actionable steps. In this video coming up here, I give you very specific steps you can take to start your garden in a way which best sets you up for success. You can definitely do this, and I'll meet you over there.